And EVOS, they are sticking with the Barats, so this is potentially going to be the jungle Barats, or am I wrong?
Yeah, jungle on gear.
Either ways, I'm just gonna put it out there. I like Impunity's draft because the Phobius, it counters the 1/1. Whenever she does her basic attack, she's gonna move around. So he will trigger his passive as well as his ultimate. Same thing with Thamus. Thamus is gonna do a lot of mini dashes with his first skill and etc. So either way, I like Impunity's draft. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I definitely like a little bit more as well, and hopefully experience is gonna help EVOS SG in this regards, because this is gonna be a very difficult feat for EVOS SG to overcome. Can they make it? Because both of these teams are representing the country, and only one of them will make it, representing from Cambodia as well as Singapore. Who's gonna come on top? And it seems like the game will be paused to find out. We gotta keep it suspense for you guys. We gotta keep it in the low light, because this is a very important moment for both Cambodia and Singapore. There will only be one that makes up after this series.
You know what? I was super pumped up, but then I was like,
it's stressful. I get it. It's stressful. You can
okay.
see. It's really
It's
stressful.
a good thing that I'm a very patient man.
No, it's a good thing we're casters.
Yeah, I'm patient. I'm humble. Oh, and looks like JPL is probably having a problem over there with his device.
What's JPL's relation got to do with you being humble and also being patient?
I prefer you not telling everyone that, because part of being humble is not to talk about it. So could you not? Let's focus on JPL.
All right, you know, seems like JPL is going to be having a little bit issues with the phone as well, and seems
audio
like
issues.
Potentially, but we've seen this.
Let's just guess.
What
let's look at this. Let's imagine this is charades.
So we're playing charades.
Okay, look at
It's
her
frozen.
Head. Not the movie?
The phone is frozen.
Oh, the phone is. I thought.
Oh, movie. Yeah. All right.
Oh, let it go.
Let it go. Yeah, we gotta let it all go. But as of now, I'm looking forward to see the game itself. But before that, here's gonna be a little bit of a trivia for you guys, because as of now, up on screen we have Tyyy's elite initiator stats, which an average assist of 10.3 as well as kill participation of 71.9% here at MSC. Tyyy, coming in from Impunity, has proved to be a very strong roamer coming from the team. What do you guys think about this?
This is such a huge show to how he likes to play, because he has such a high KP of 71.9%, which is fairly sometimes uncommon depending on the playstyle, of course, of that roamer. But we do understand that he is like the main factor, I would say, when it comes down to it.
The amount of impact on the game, because if the game goes for a long period of time, a short period of time, the fact that you have a lot of kill participation over there, it does show that your team does rely on you. Because looking at how a roamer plays, there's two basic ways of how you play it. Number one is either you initiate, or number two, you peel. And based on these numbers, Tyyy, he likes to start something. I'm pretty confident that he can protect his carries, but looking at how Impunity plays, he's like, I will tell you guys when it's the right moment to go in. And having someone like that on your team just give a big confidence boost, because no matter what situation, as long as you have him, you will never be in a situation where you feel lost. You will never be in a situation where you're like, guys, what's our plan, A, B, or C? He's just super confident. Let's go for A. Boom. Let's go.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm looking forward to see how it all goes down, especially coming from their journey as well from MPL Cambodia. Before that, I believe some of the players were from CU Soon before that. CU Soon was one of the strongest teams in the first season, and ever since they jumped over, things were a little bit different in their overall performance, and eventually won their season later on. So it's something that I'm looking forward to see on how quickly they were able to adapt to the current region. Because if you think about it, they were one of the slower regions to develop compared to any other regions. And what was really surprising for me was that they have so much reference points from so many regions to actually compete in the highest level. And hopefully that is going to be able to excel, because as of yet, this is going to be Oppi, the guy that I really like as well. This time he's going to be a gold laner coming from Impunity KH, and back then he was playing XP and tanks as well. It's something that I'm really looking forward to see. Can he carry his team as a gold laner right now?
Yeah, Oppi, gold per minute, over 800. I would say in general, anything above 700 is good, so having 800 is amazing. But with that being said, we're going back into the game, and hopefully everything will go as planned.
Yeah, but it turns out here, Oppi is actually the jungle, so that's a huge stat to have, right? I mean, you have that high amount of GPM on that jungle position. This also is a huge signal to the fact that he is very reliable in terms of scaling and jungling, I suppose. But now you can see here
Oh no!
already so much happening on the board as JPL was able to take that away, but it was actually stolen back by Oppi.
Oh, that was so close as well. It was the final take. JPL almost stole it away, but the Stinger's timing coming from OP, understanding that he does not have enough damage period. So that was great precision timing coming from OP to actually come up on top. So it's not an end of the world, but EVOS SG, they have to play their experience in terms of laning. And as of yet, the Franco thing did not work out against Impunity as of now.
Legit, I thought he used his retribution, but he actually didn't.
Almost looked like, right?
Yeah, I thought he was definitely going to use it, but it's a good thing he did it because right now, EVOS SG, they're starting up the turtle, and just because he has the retribution, they can fight it. However, it looks like, initiation coming in from the side of Oppi, but a little bit too late.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was a little bit too late to that party there. They did try and force that Dawning Light, but unfortunately, nothing's too fancy just yet from both teams. But what I wanted to highlight was usually when we see a two assassin type of heroes being placed in the drafting, we always assume that they need to take it into that early game. But when I think about it, they still have Senpai on the Xavier, they still have Phobius on Boom. So do they also scale as well as EVO Singapore into the late game? And if that is the case, how and what are the winning conditions for EVO Singapore?
That's the thing about EVO Singapore's composition, right? They've got three very, very tanky compositions, which Impunity KH can't exactly do too much. If they were to pick a carry instead of Clint, it's something that's very, very doable against this tanky, beefy composition. But when they final picked the Barats, their intent was not because they want to force fights. It's to run over Impunity KH and soak up all the damage they deal with them and get away with it. And that's the thing about Impunity's composition, right? If they don't get any early pickoffs or any kind of punishes from early get-go, eventually EVOS SG is going to hit their timings where they're too tanky and Impunity just doesn't have enough damage to chunk them off.
Oh, look at that. First blood is going over the side of EVOS SG. A very good hook from the side of JPL. And I'm just going to get onto that question as well. I feel like the way that EVOS SG will win against Impunity KH is to actually outlast the team fight, because in the longer stage of the team fight, because again, Impunity KH, they do have two assassins. They want to end the match as quickly as possible. They want to end every team fight as bursty as possible. So as long as they can avoid all of these just huge amount of damage in a short amount of time and give a lot of space to Seilah as well as Adammir, eventually they will win the team fight.
Exactly.
They just have a lot more DPS.
Exactly. You can see that the confidence coming from EVOs, right? They're just invading jungles time and time again against Impunity KH, knowing that they cannot do anything about it. Considering that the only tanky hero that can soak up some damage as well as face check is pretty much the Phobius. Selena can't exactly do it. They're looking for setups of mistakes coming from EVOS SG, but knowing EVOs, they've got so many years of experience fighting against Selena from so many seasons. So I feel like it's not that much of a threat for them. All they gotta do is just play safe, drag it out, and eventually Impunity will not have enough damage to do so. And on top of it all, they've got a JPL Franco as a safety net to start off fights.
It's interesting, right? Because when we think about it, it has to be Impunity going in for these neutral objectives. But the way that EVO Singapore is playing, like you mentioned earlier, they're denying all this. What initially we thought would be really huge map pressure, as well as map vision, has actually been taken away. I mean, the way that JPL is going in all these bushes, just soaking up that damage from the traps, is denying that potential away from Impunity.
Yeah, I guess we do have to touch on Gear on this Barats as well. His pathing is so good. Like, he's not wasting any time taking unnecessary farm, because the way that he's moving around the map is honestly great, especially because as a Barat, you kind of don't have to worry about face checking any bush. Even though, yeah, there's two assassins, but they kind of have to engage from afar.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And look at this, EVOs. They're not afraid. They know that Gear is just so strong and they don't exactly have a lot of damage, especially when he has those stacks. Look at him. He's just running him over. He's very, very confident. He's forcing Impunity in a spot where they cannot contest the 1-1. And because of that, Adammir is just left unchecked and Deja was forced to make a decision. It seems like he is going to try and farm his way through and try and threaten Adammir a little bit more, while EVOs just continue to oppress them now. Boom. Forcing a big battle spell as well, and that is going to be the Purify taken out for the next equation, and Gear is going to be able to get the Daytona's welcome very, very soon, but it's all about those timings, and EVO's playing it safe for now. JPL looking for the hook. Seems like he's not going to get it as the traps will reveal his position.
I mean, they are playing it so methodical right now from the side of EVO Singapore, right? They're baiting away all these important spells, these important skills. They're trying to deny the rotations, especially for Oppi, and that is going to be a huge factor, especially understanding that there are still only 20 seconds left on the board for that next turtle to spawn, and already 2 resources have been wasted in that side.
See, this is exactly what I mean, right? Every single time an arrow EVOS SG, they will know where it's coming, and they are very aware about it, because as soon as the arrow hits, yeah, we gotta just sidestep it. Even if it hits, what can they do? And it's gonna be a very, very difficult situation, but on the top side, we do see a force fight as well. Seilah, not sure what he was thinking all by himself. He tried to go in for the burst, and Impunity was waiting in the bush, and that's gonna be Seilah literally taken out, and this is a big chance for Impunity. Meanwhile, EVOS looks like they are gonna try and force the retribution fight as well, and it seems like Gear is going to come on top. JPL with the hook, not going to be transitioning for anything yet, as EVOS lost their burst potential, which is going to be Seilah.
Luckily enough, even though they did make a huge mistake in that top side, they were still able to get that objective on the board, because initially with those type of pickoffs, you'd want Impunity KH to be able to have like an upper edge in that neutral objective, but unfortunately that not be the case as a concealed play goes through.
Oppi getting hooked blind as well. JPL, what an absolute monster when it comes to game sense, but here comes the Daytona's welcome. Is not over yet. Gear trying to set up with a chain stun as well, but it seems like it's not going to be happening as well, but looks like boom, it's starting to pop off. Adammir baited him out, forced him to use the ultimate, and as soon as that happens, he was out of position, and they all four swarm on towards boom, coming from EVOS SG.
2 members taken down here from the side of Impunity, and once again, Evo Singapore, he comes out on top, now sitting with a 2,000 gold lead, and they're not stopping there. Look at Adammir really just munching away on that turret in the bottom side, as Adammir just so easily steps out of that dawning line.
Oh, JPL, what a cheeky angle to go in for the hook. Seems like it's not going to happen, but Impunity KH, they're just struggling to find this composition, and look at this, Seilah, he gets a very nice buzz onto his boom, and that's going to be the tankiest hero coming from Impunity, and they're going to lose the equation. Down ball comes in, Seilah isolates the fight. They will lose JPL from that over-aggression, but it's not the end of the war, because Gear is coming in. He wants to force a fight, and can they get it out? And now, Senpai, Dawning Light, starting to build out a little bit more traction coming from Impunity KH, and that might be the so-called win condition that they need, which is to wait for Senpai to get his items before he pops off.
Right now, we gotta give props to EVOS SG, man, because the way that they're playing the map, the macro plays are amazing, because we wanted them to control the map. With the draft coming from the side of Impunity KH, I mean, like, I can take this L. I thought that with this draft, they can really control the map, making it very, very difficult for the side of EVOS SG, but here, with this Barat, is really denying any kind of control from the side of Impunity. So, yeah, we gotta give props. The way that they're playing this map is levels ahead of what we saw previously.
That's why Youngin is such an amazing coach coming from EVOS SG. They understand their timing so well when it comes to drafts, and I feel like Selena kind of falls out later stage of the game. Now, with the Darkness Falls, looks like they are going to try and force the issue. Nick does have the Vengeance as well as the Ultimate as well. Look at him, he's soaking so much damage, but the rest of EVOS, they're going to be focusing on the fight. Hellcurt gets like a little bit of a trade-off on the sides, but it's not going to matter, because the rest of EVOS are just chipping away at his teammates, and the rest of Impunity KH, they just completely shut out and run over. And look at this, despite the scuffle, EVOS is just so tanky in all these skirmishes.
4 members taken down just like that, and I thought it was a little bit of a mistake from the side of EVO Singapore. JPL used his Iron Hook as well as that flicker a little too early, but it turns out they don't need it. The moment that Adammir was able to get that crossbow of Tang, and they just initially were melted off the board. It does seem like Impunity had a little bit of something in that top side. They were able to get a turret in that top, but we'll see as EVO Singapore once again melting it down, and the instant replay here by TikTok. Lefel, take it away.
Yeah, right now looking at this instant replay, we have to look at the position coming in for the side of EVOS SG, because the way that they're doing is they're actually giving a lot of space for Adammir to get his stacks, because they're really positioning in a way that they're creating a lot of space between all of the melee frontliners. And this is why 1-1 is usually banned. It's not fun to play against, because you think you're dishing out damage, and you are, but you're giving a lot of opportunities for her to get her crossbow Tang.
Yep, I definitely agree. But with the Lord coming in onto the top side as well, the inhibitor will be threatened as of yet. Impunity, they are going to try and play it a little bit safe, but what can they do? What's the timing that they need? And currently Senpai is only level 10. It's going to be very, very difficult before this Savior comes online. And EVOS SG, they've just got so much room to work with just like that. And I feel like in this kind of scenarios, Impunity they have to find a way to shut down Adammir. And once he's taken out of equation, they have to figure out on making a way for Deja to chunk out all this beefy composition coming from EVOS SG.
To be honest, the way that they're playing this, maybe they need to look for a little bit more angles in the sense that Oppi needs to come in from the backside, maybe go in for a little bit similar play like R7 does, or what we saw earlier in that previous game. Because if they go for just front to back, it's not possible because of Gear being able to just chunk in so much damage, and JPL always there to be able to do the bloody hunt as well. So they need to think about the positioning in terms for Impunity KH.
I want to talk about the nature of an assassin, right? Once an assassin starts to fall off, but oh look, they're initiating onto the Franco, managing to get a kill. I was about to say, I was worried that they do not have enough damage, but I guess if 5 people focus on one person, it is going to be enough.
Yep, it definitely is as well. It took them 5 to take down 1, but guess what? They are going to lose an inhibitor to the minions up top. So great lane controls coming from EVOS SG. But once again, this is going to be a very, very difficult task because right now, let's take a look at the itemizations coming from EVOS SG. We've got Athena's as well as Curse Helmet up available on the tanks from EVOS SG. This is going to hurt considering that the amount of magic that Impunity Cage has.
Yeah, again, Impunity KH right now, they still have opportunities to win because, like you said, the amount of damage coming in from Senpai is going to be a little bit difficult for them to handle. But the way that EVOS SG has been playing, it doesn't look like they're giving a lot of space for Senpai. So I feel like they're still in a very good spot. Once they have a Lord, they can brute force their way in just by having that Barat. So I'm looking at a maximum of 3 more Lords for EVOS SG to potentially close this out.
Yeah, maybe. It's just maybe as well. But as of yet, objective-wise, they're doing fantastically well. And even if the Darkness Force comes in, they're going to be able to tank it all. As long as Seilah doesn't get caught out, Adammir doesn't get caught out, they're going to be good. So it's going to be a lot of emphasis for Oppi to try and make this kind of plays for Impunity KH if they want to force a fight. But as of yet, the Lord is going to be down towards the final 2 bars. Impunity KH, Oppi, looking for the setup. He's only got 1 Stingers in the charge, but looks like he's going to pop the Darkness Force, preemptive the Evos, completely let go of the Lord, and focus on the team fight as well. It seems like it's down towards one final percentage as well. Boom, with the Storm, it's going to get killed off with the Lord setup, and EVOS is going to get it as well. A big dawning light coming from Impunity KH will scare him off, but the Lord will be secure from EVOS SG.
2-for-0 trade for the side of EVOS SG, winning it out in that particular area. But what I would like to highlight from that team fight is that we mentioned one of the winning conditions is for Oppi to be able to get into that back line and, of course, take down either Seilah or Adammir. And that was exactly what he tried to do. He went all face first into Adammir, unknowingly that JPL was already waiting for him. And therefore, it was Oppi the one to get caught out. So EVO Singapore, they understand the winning conditions of themselves as well as the winning conditions for Impunity, and just is so good at that macro read and just really was able to get on top of that.
This is the unfortunate reality of using an assassin. If you don't do well in the early stages of the game, you're not going to deal enough damage, because look at the itemization for Helka over here. He has the Demon Hunter's Sword as well as the Malefic Roar, but then he's focusing on defense, and with that, I don't think he can take down any carries from the side of EVOS SG.
I definitely agree. It's all up to Senpai to make the play. Darkness Force comes in to try and preemptively defend against this. You can see Impunity, they're focusing on the Lord. They will focusing it now, but the inhibitors will fall. EVOS SG looking for the hook as well. JPL going for the hook. He gets it, and that is going to be the suppress coming in. Boom, gets taken down, but the damage coming from Senpai is starting to hurt a little bit more. They get the trade-off onto JPL, but Adammir is still alive, and he's still running around roses against Impunity KH. Seilah takes a little bit run off the dawning light, but the next inhibitor, the final one, will fall as Adammir continues to lane control the entirety of the map. But seems like EVOS SG, they did not want to risk this fight at all, as they want to save out the immortalities, and Nick is going to back off this fight.
9,000 gold lead now for the side of EVO Singapore, as once again they were able to make the most out of that siege. I mean, 3 turrets just taking down inhibitor turrets, mind you, from the side of Impunity, and it's just insane to see. It's so difficult. How can they maneuver around this now from the side of Impunity?
Yeah, it's just very, very difficult to do so. But I feel like from Impunity, they just gotta stall it as long as they can. You asked about a very, very interesting one as well. They have to stall for Senpai. Look at the damage now. He's got 51,000, and he's the core winning factor. And every single time EVOS SG, if they decide to clump away, and when the Darkness Force comes in, and EVOS SG decides to say buddy up and say, hey, we group up together, and then we will know what's going on. When that happens, that's the perfect moment to drop a big dawning light.
Here's the problem, right? Yes, if I can deal a lot of damage, but look at the hero side of EVOS. Just having that Mirage, having that Hamus, he will not have enough damage, well, at least not in one combo, right? You have to have a prolonged fight. You will eventually knock them out, but I don't know. Impunity KH, not only are they waiting for items, but they have to wait for a good position to actually take the team fight.
Oh, I was about to bring out the Divine Glaive as well, because Senpai now, he's got the Divine Glaive. This is where he hits the most, and look at this, boom! That's gonna be down one here from EVOS Edge. He needs to make a run for it. Impunity, they're trying to force the fight, but Adammir is gonna try and scare him off. Look at the positions of Senpai right now. He's playing it extremely safe, and now Adammir will pop off, shut them all down. Oppi needs to make a run for it. He gets the 3-man silence, but Senpai doesn't seem to have the cooldown to follow up, and that is gonna be the retreat coming from EVOS SG. But as of yet, they are still hanging on, but EVOS will try to close up the game as they focus on the Lord.
2-0 trade, EVOS were still in the lead, and now they have an enhanced Lord that I'm sure is not going to be tested, and especially that Oppi was the one to be taken down as a result of the aggression coming in from EVOS Singapore. And I have to agree, sure, the Dawning Light does a lot of damage, but unfortunately, when you prolong fight, the DPS coming in from that crossbow of Tang is just gonna overrule that initial burst coming in from Impunity KH.
Oh, that's why it's just so much precise. They gotta set it up. EPL going for a very cheeky touch. I was like, yo, I've never seen someone this big walk that fast. Whoa. Yeah, that's a good record.
Yeah. I like it.
I get it. But at the same time, there was a really cheeky play coming from EPL. But hopefully it's going to be enough, because as the Lord is going to be coming down a little, and Impunity Cambodia is going to have a little bit of a struggle to defend against this. Adammir really set up that down. The ball comes in, but here comes on. How to get a 7 on the ball. Falling like a in, but did not have Seilah off the back line. Completely shut down the back line of Impunity. And they completely wiped up. Only up to hang on. He couldn't even anything. Triple kill. Adammir. He was MSC against MSC playoff. Still did it. It's the first game against Impunity.
Huge play